Hey everyone, welcome back to our exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bankrupt joined once again by Nick.
That's me.
And we're just deciding to recreate the whole ending of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie by taking Son Gohan against the Gammas with the Hito leader. Like always, just buttons. Check them out. Let's get into it. Red on red. We don't get that much of the shop lately.
Yeah, red has not been good for a little while. It's good to actually have some pretty competent red decks to actually play. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
And recently, Hito actually topped in Asia, so I haven't seen that list yet. Kind of intrigued. But from what I've gathered, like, and I think it's the same thing for Gohan, like, 60% of the deck is kind of like just the archetype, and then it's just good red stuff afterwards. Because I think we both practically tech in the same good red stuff, except that you're a Saiyan, so you get to tech in a little extra that I can't.
Yeah, and we talked about this after our game too. Like, yeah, like being being inherently a Saiyan in almost any color is the right choice, honestly, for deck building. Saiyans are androids. They just make so much things for this, and yeah, I'm running some tech, and you'll see it here where it just saves me.
The Hito is way like I knew it was gonna be aggro, but like I had Fluff even state like that was more aggro than he expected. And
Yeah,
it all falls down the line that like there's like three different cards that will restand if you just restand one of your Game of Ones effects. And you initially you could swing like three cards and then restand Game of One and resend those exact same three cards. And some of them get like additional effects, or you get draws, or they neg stuff on the board. So, and with a combination of this field card, or not field card, sorry, this Z extra card, Hito's Laboratory, you could initially activate main to play a Game of One in rest mode with the energy cost greater than or equal to, sorry, less than or equal to your current energy.
yeah, and I was honestly taken surprised by it too. Like we've seen board spam decks before in the past, but this one does just enough to where it's different, and that's honestly it's a good thing. Having essentially every card on your board being a dual attacker every turn is ridiculous. It just provides so much pressure, and I honestly wasn't expecting it either. And it does take me by surprise a little bit too. It's like just the amount of swings you're able to get in for next to nothing.
Yeah. But I will say the downside of Hito is that it is built to be super aggro. The only Red Ribbon Army card that was in the archetype that has a negate attached to it is only meant for the Cell Max leader, which is useless in this deck. So like you have to like I think I've run two testing opposition, two after image, and then I side in two protected people if I feel like I'm going against another aggro deck. That's all I got. And my secret rare is Pan actually in this deck.
Yeah, so here you'll see it quite a bit with this game. Both of us just do a thing and then just switch our card sideways so we
Yeah.
can read it, make sure we're playing it right. This is the first weekend I've gotten to play this deck. I haven't really done too much testing with it, but it was honestly it was a lot of fun. My game one in this week was not great just because I missed a pan, and the whole deck revolves around having the opponent having one of your pan cards. So I've made a little bit of changes to it, but having it fire on full cylinders, it was actually a lot of fun.
Which you play six of those pants. Like the fact that you didn't, because it plays it from the deck, and you said you had
Yeah,
your life in your hand.
yeah, yeah. So they have to be specifically in the deck in order for you to hit them to get them onto your opponent's side of the board, and your awakened skill. Like you don't really have ways to put cards back in your deck besides the Raditz super combo, but it doesn't go live until turn four, so you or until you're four life, so you missed that boat completely. It was honestly a struggle doing playing that game, that first game, but being able to stabilize and actually do stuff this time around it's honestly it was a lot of fun.
So one of the things about Hito is that it's turn two. Um, you can awaken very quickly by having both Game of One and Game of Two on the board, and because every leader in this set are draw leaders, um, you can initially swing a Hito, get one card out of your hand, play the two Gammas, awaken, draw two more cards, and then swing with a Gamma 2 after awakening, and then you get to draw two more cards. Because you discard one card though, but I mean, it just gives you so much potential.
Yeah, Gohan has the exact same or very similar awakening conditions too. It's a draw two leader as well, and on the unawakened side, it'll draw and swing. But on the unawakened side, it says when a Gohan SH or Piccolo SH swings, you draw a card. So you can swing with your unawakened side leader, draw a card, awaken, draw two more cards, go down to 6 life, draw two more cards, go play a Gohan from the Z extra card and swing with that and draw an additional card. So a lot of decks this time around have just insane amounts of draw power. Every deck has crazy hands now, which is honestly wild to think about. Like it's a good equalizer to where everything has big hands. You're gonna have something to play at one point in the game or another.
Yeah. And here, both the Gamma 2 and the Z battle card have reduced costs when you have a Gamma 1. Well, Gamma 2 reduced, so you have a Gamma 1 board, and then the Z battle card reduces if you have both on the board. It reduces by one cost and one Z extra card, or sorry, Z energy card. And I haven't used Hito's ability yet, but once I proc his ability, I'll go restand all three of these cards, and the Z battle card will gain double strike.
Yeah, which is honestly it's crazy good. Like just the amount of value you get in for spending two energy, you get seven swings with your leader included. Like it's bananas.
Yeah. Here it's because the Z battle card is a Gamma 2. I get to do the discard draw 2 off that. Because I'm here just double checking to make sure it didn't specify like if it like stated like non Z battle card or whatever, but no, just as if your Gamma 2 swings, you could discard draw 2. And I decided to take out your board presence because I couldn't remember exactly how the exact chain goes up, but like if you replace it or play on top of it. So I just wanted to make sure I cleared your board so that way you had to invest more energy to reestablishing a board.
Yeah, and it cost me nothing to play that. Well, it cost me the one energy to play the extra card, but it didn't really feel like too much of an investment for me. And the card itself has deflect and barrier, so it's going to stick around unless your opponent wants to swing at it. And there is an evolve target in the deck. It's okay. It the best part about it is it free plays the Piccolo that you see in my energy. Free plays that from the deck with its skills negated, so you can go up the chain into that stack to play the orange Piccolo battle card, which you need that card in order to do your free Z Awaken. And that card is honestly it's pretty good. Just for the amount of pressure that it provides for one energy evolve, it draws a card, it restands itself, so you can swing with the Piccolo first. The yellow Piccolo first, and then it gains a boost, and then it's a blocker, and the leader will restand it at the end of the turn. So you can swing with it freely and then have it up as a blocker at the beginning of your opponent's turn.
And just in case someone calls it out, I did swing out of order. I should have swung a double strike first, knowing you were at 5 life. You may have taken the 2 damage instead. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in this deck because if you do the alternate Z Awaken with the Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, it takes you down to 4 regardless. So in the games that I've gotten to play with this, I don't mind taking my life down to 4 freely just because I'm gonna do it myself regardless. So I don't it saves me the trouble, and it also kind of protects my battle cards a little bit if people want to swing at me because I want to keep the battle cards for as long as possible. And I didn't know how much removal your deck had, so I was kind of cautious with playing my battle cards. I wanted to make sure they stuck.
Yeah, and here you're trying to take out my Gamma 1 right now, which is
Yeah,
why
because
I used the trunks to combo it off to just kind of get out of that 15k hit.
yeah, I wanted to hit the board. I didn't want you going with multiple swings with a full board and then just playing more and just swinging for the fences for the rest of the game. So I wanted to get a little more off the board. And so yeah, and now my Piccolo is just restanding as a blocker now, so it's able to defend. Granted, this day and age, spot removal is so high in most decks, but it's a little harder to remove because it's a 5 cost 20k, so it can't be negged that easily, and not too many things hit 5 cost or higher. Usually it's 4 or less is what we see, so it can stay in the right circumstances, but generally you just want to get the block off as soon as possible so you can go into your alt Z Awaken at the end of the turn.
So I'm in a situation. I don't think I have a game of one in my hand right now. And I remember saying like, yeah, that was Grant. I still get to draw because I have a game of two on board. All I gotta do is swing with it to get the discard one, draw two. But I remember specifically saying, yeah, that was the best play that you could have done was take that out first.
Yeah, and you clarified too a little bit because the your leader only gives them barrier on your turn,
Yeah,
not on the opponent's turn. So initially, I was like, well, I'm just not going to be able to do anything with these except swing at them. But then the first Piccolo is able it negs a battle card 20k on play, so the spot removal is honestly not bad in this deck either.
so here we got the 5-drop, which is activate battle for 1 energy. You could draw 1 card, play this card, give a regular army card plus 10k for battle, and then on play you give another card or the same card you choose plus 5k for the turn. And here I'm just like, I'm just gonna take out your Piccolo. I don't want that around on the board since you're blocking with it. And this way I'm not really comboing anything off for it.
Yeah, and we were talking about this too as this battle was going through because the battle power, so the 10k battle power is for the battle, but the 5k is for the turn, and I was just clarifying that. I was like, is it which one's which? Because in a deck like this where you do get multiple swings, it is important.
Yep. Nice little 5k boost, which in normal situations is great. But if I could just establish the Z battle card once again on the board, then my gammas get plus 5k.
Yeah, and that honestly, that's one of the things I liked about Gohan. Looking back on it when I was building it, the defensive capabilities of this deck is honestly it's through the roof. Especially if you're able to Z Awaken, because you do get the Unending Awakening to give yourself a +5, so you're a 25k base defensively, and then you have a really solid floodgate in King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, so you're negging your opponent's battle cards 5k on every one of their swings. Like your opponent has to invest a lot if you're able to get the right defensive combo off just to make a threat at all in the life.
Here I think I'm just debating on order of operation, and I double check one thing with Jimmy because the Hito can only restand a Gamma 1 with energy cost 3 or less. He can't just I can't restand the 5-drop. So I was double checking like the Z battle cards auto. It's one of those things where you can play as much as possible. And since it's auto states, if one of your Gamma 1s is restand, you restand this card, and this card gains double strike. So I was double checking if I choose to restand this card, it procs the auto, restands, which would restand it, and then it gains double strike because it's part of the overall auto. It's not like if you do restand this card, then it gains this effect.
So here you go, taking me down to 3, and then I'm standing down the barrel of 4 more swings.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where you're a red Saiyan, so like if you happen to have another King Vegeta's was it Imposing Presence or yeah, like that's just such a good way of kind of like slowing this down even more now. So you go down to, I think you comfortably like, yeah, you're like very comfortably going down here.
Yeah, just because I do have an Imposing Presence in hand, and you're just adding cards to my hand, which is good for me. So you'll have to spend a lot of resources if you. I'm kind of wanting you to exhaust yourself so I can come in on the clapback.
I will say I felt, even on 1 energy, I still feel kind of comfortable just because I'm at 5 life though. And if I recall correctly, I'm sitting at I think I have 2 testings in my hand. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm okay if I get to this point. I'm just really comboing things off. I feel comfortable comboing off just in case to kind of get rid of stuff from your hand. And then I kind of follow up this Vegeta to just get a little bit more out of your hand.
Yeah. But we're tapped out, so we do the Imposing Presence. Now you're at 20k where I'm at 25k, so if you want to invest, you can. But
Yeah, in that situation, I just looked at 20. Like, you brought me down to 20. I'm like, okay, cool. You lost 3 cards in that interaction, which I'm fine with. And I debated about popping to play the sell, but then I was like, oh, he's only at 20k. He'll go down to 15k, and then I have to expend more resources. No, no. I'll just pass here and just survive with what I have in my hand.
Yeah. And I did this slightly out of order on the Z Awaken. It's supposed to happen at the end of the turn, not at the start of my turn. So I kind of charged a little bit differently, but it didn't matter.
Yeah. Because I was like, wait, what happened here? Because you charge entry first, and then you just went into it. I'm like, okay, hang on, let me double check a few things.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything at all. I mean, I should have played it, then drew, and then charged, but I knew what I wanted to do in this instance. So now my leader's a 20k double strike base. So every swing is going to be a threat. Granted, you do have 5 life, so you do have quite a bit. I have quite a bit of work to put in for myself. But the good thing about this deck is it does run a lot of red generic cards. Like Bancroft said, it's kind of like a 60-40 split. So it's really easy with just the red staples to get double strikes, dual attacks, a lot of stuff on the board.
Yeah, here comes your nice little secret rare that you borrowed from Matt.
Oh no, I bought that bitch.
Oh, you bought it from Matt. Okay, okay. I know he brought it, so I know if you.
That is my card now, sir.
It's a good one. I couldn't remember because I was thinking the Gogeta deck. I'm like, shouldn't all your energy be tapped to do this? Like, oh no, I'm confusing that with the Z Awakened ability of Gogeta. And here you can see all my beautiful negates. I did not have 2 testing. I thought I did, but I did not. Yeah.
So this is really good for me because now I know he has 1 energy open, but a lot of negates, so not much in hand. So if I'm able to pressure, then I can get in. I can get in really big. And now that the secret rare is a quad strike, he has to negate it, so it has to tap himself out. And another one of the red good techs, we can run Omega because we are Z leaders.
Yeah.
So that
I realized here I kind of miscalculated because I overwhelmed. So now I don't have enough cards in my oh, Pan was my next one, that's right. I was like, why didn't I after image on that one? I'm like, oh yeah, there's only 3 cards in my drop. So yeah, it was fun.
couldn't spark.
Nope, could not spark. But that is today's video. Thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind there's buttons, links, check them out. And also, we got both these profiles come out later this week, so stay tuned for those. And yeah, bye.